Today, we're talking about a plane crash in Philadelphia, an update on last Wednesday's crash in DC, an executive order that imposes tariffs on goods from Canada, China, and Mexico, and other top news for Monday, February 3rd. Stay informed while remaining focused on Christ with the pour-over today. Here's the quote of the day. We all long for Eden, and we are constantly glimpsing it. Our whole nature, at its best and least corrupted, its gentlest and most human, is still soaked with the sense of exile. J.R.R. Tolkien. Let's get started with some espresso shots. Just 2 days after a Black Hawk helicopter and an American Airlines jet collided near Washington, D.C., a small plane crashed in Philadelphia. What do we know about the Philadelphia crash? On Friday night, a medical transport plane carrying a 6-year-old patient, the child's mother, 2 medical personnel, and 2 pilots crashed near a shopping center shortly after takeoff. Everyone on board was killed. On the ground, 1 person in a car was killed, and at least 22 others were injured. The child had traveled from Tijuana, Mexico to the U.S. for medical treatment and was headed back home. What happened? A director from Jet Rescue Air Ambulance, which operated the flight, said there was absolutely no indication of issues before takeoff. Investigators had recovered the aircraft's 2 engines, but the cockpit voice recorder, commonly called a black box, remains missing. Any updates on the other crash? Investigators are still determining what led to Wednesday's deadly collision in D.C., but publicly available data shows the military helicopter was flying above the 200-foot altitude limit meant to keep military and commercial aircraft safely separated. Separately, a preliminary FAA report found the Reagan National Control Tower was understaffed, along with 91% of all air traffic facilities in the U.S., with 1 air traffic controller handling 2 positions when the collision occurred. Anything else? The political finger-pointing has been fierce in D.C. and on social media. Republicans are generally blaming controller shortages on DEI programs, while Democrats are generally blaming recent actions by the Trump administration. Christians don't need to tune out tragedy or downplay the heaviness of this world to hold on to joy and hope. Our Savior Jesus confronted darkness directly and triumphed over it through his death and resurrection. John 16, 22, 23, and 33 says, "So you also have sorrow now, but I will see you again. Your hearts will rejoice, and no one will take away your joy from you. In that day, you will not ask me anything. Truly I tell you, anything you ask the Father in my name, he will give you. I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. You will have suffering in this world. Be courageous. I have conquered the world." Uncle Sam is trading fewer goods and more tariffs with his top 3 trade partners, Canada, Mexico, and China. Combined, the 3 countries account for around 40% of U.S. trade. In an executive order signed Saturday, President Trump said the tariffs, 25% on imports from Mexico and Canada, 10% on Canadian energy products, and 10% on imports from China, are to hold the countries accountable to their promises of halting illegal immigration and stopping poisonous fentanyl from entering the U.S. The order includes provisions for hiking the import tax if the countries impose retaliatory tariffs, which happened almost immediately. Canada and Mexico promised their own 25% tariffs within hours, while China promised legal action against the taxes. Supporters say the tariffs will boost American manufacturing industries. Critics warn the levies could lead to higher inflation. Here's a verse to consider whether you're negotiating with a global power, a difficult coworker, or a cranky toddler. Seek peace and pursue it. The eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are open to their cry for help. Psalm 34, 14 and 15.
Hey, it's Emily from The Pour Over. Here's some girl math for you. If I get cash back on gas and use it for free, air quotes, coffee, it's like I never spent any money at all. That's why I love Upside. It's not a confusing point system. I can just transfer the cash straight into my account. Plus, I'm getting cash back for stuff I'm already doing, like filling up my gas tank and Friday pizza night with my family. It's super easy. Download the app, Check the map for offers, claim one, pay like normal, and boom, cash back. Basically never spending any money at all, right? Download the free Upside app and use promo code TPO to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas. That's an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas using promo code TPO.
In other brews, here's a rapid round of updates. Hamas released 3 hostages Saturday, including American citizen Keith Siegel. The North Carolina native was taken from his home in Israel with his wife Aviva, who was released in November 2023. There remain 79 hostages in Gaza, including 6 American hostages, 4 of whom are presumed dead. Roughly 180 Palestinian prisoners were released in Saturday's exchange. Venezuela released 6 imprisoned Americans on Friday. The men, called hostages by President Trump, were accused of terrorism and espionage by Venezuela. Securing their release was only half of Special Envoy Richard Grenell's mission. He also spoke with President Maduro, who agreed to receive deported migrants, including members of a notorious Venezuelan gang, from the U.S. The Treasury's looping in DOGE. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent granted Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency read-only access to the payment system used for 88% of all federal payments, including Social Security and Medicare. The Treasury will monitor DOGE's activity while it reviews the payment system's efficiency. Democrats are raising alarms about non-federal employees gaining access to sensitive information. The NBA got a big shakeup yesterday when the Dallas Mavericks unexpectedly traded point guard Luka Doncic for LA Lakers center Anthony Davis. Doncic, who led Dallas to the finals last season and was expecting a 5-year, $345 million contract extension this summer, was reportedly traded over injury concerns. LA now hopes to build a new dynasty with the new young star. Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow, predicting 6 more weeks of winter. So, bundle up. Or don't. Old Punx is only right about 39% of the time. Yesterday's holiday dates back more than a century, but much of America's obsession with the woodchuck's weather forecast can be credited to Bill Murray's 1993 movie Groundhog Day. Thanks, Bill. And that's all we have for today. Thanks so much for listening. If you're listening on the Apple Podcast app, give us a 5-star rating and drop a review. If you're listening on Spotify, give us a follow and hit the notification bell to never miss a new episode. We appreciate your support and hope you have a great day. We'll see you on Wednesday. Ever feel like your kids have trained you more than you've trained them? You're not the only one. The Parenting with Ginger Hubbard podcast equips parents to reach beyond outward behavior and point children to the transformational power of Christ. It's time to move past the frustrations of not knowing how to handle issues of defiance and step into a confident and heart-oriented approach to raising children. Subscribe to Parenting with Ginger Hubbard wherever you listen to podcasts for weekly encouragement.